believe I could get paid for doing what I love to do because I was feeling uncertain about what I was creating. I wasn't sure about it. Especially when I started off in the spiritual community, I was tied into a lot of beliefs that weren't for me. And so through the years of revising what I've been doing, my goal was to become a coach and help people. I learned a lot about recognizing certain people for who they were, but then I got past that and also could recognize what I was doing that was causing myself to stay stuck. And then I also have recognized things that are happening around us in society that try to keep us stuck as well. And so through this whole processing, I was trying to build my channel and I was coming across bullies and things like that. And so like I would cut my channel and erase it because I would just be like, I felt like because they had access to my channel that they could somehow affect it. And that was untrue because there's always going to be haters, whether you know them in person or they come across you online. And so I had to get to a point where I wasn't seeing growth. And so this got me to really look at my product and what I was giving. And I still felt uncertain. And so like, if you can't fully back what you're creating, then how is anyone else supposed to believe you? Right? And so I recognized where I still was not 100% about me and my information. And that's where I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I need to look at this and match it with what actually helped me and what hindered me. And so I was pulling things away from my readings. I was pulling information away. And even some of the cards I use, I have to like look at them and read the message and be like, no, I don't believe in that. And so, not that I don't enjoy the cards, but it's not all about the cards. It's me as the messenger and what I've learned and what the choices I've made or not made. And I just had to get to a point where I love what I'm doing. And so it wasn't just about recognizing the abusers. It wasn't just about learning to love myself. It wasn't just about reading the room. It was like all of those things, how they were interacting together and like put it in a package. And that is now me. I pulled all this information. I took time out to experience all these things. And now I've pulled it all together within myself. And now I look at the videos that I'm creating. I love what I'm doing. And now I do believe that I can get paid for this. And so I just need to stay consistent and keep going, right? And previously it's been a rocky road because when people would pop out and come into my lane, like it caused me to veer off and hang out at the side of the road for a bit and go up in my head and stay out of the action. And that was helpful, but I also had to recognize where sometimes people will try to convince you you're someone who you're not, and sometimes we do that to ourselves. And so along that path, it really allowed me to revise what I was speaking about. Is it true? Why would it be true? And why wouldn't it not be true? And it really got me to the root of growth. And it's not just one thing. It was a number of things. Like a plant who's growing, it's the soil, it's the sun, it's the things around it, right? So for me, I had to recognize, had I just stayed when I was in spirituality, if I just stayed in that environment and then where I would have missed out on so many lessons. And so I kind of relate it to, like, you know, when you start seedlings, as soon as they come through the dirt, they're meant to, like, you meant to put a fan on them, and they really need that sunlight down low. And so if you don't get all those things as a human, they really affect your growth. And I had to recognize where I was. So when I tried to grow seeds and plants, it was really challenging because there were times in life where I couldn't do it because I had too many other distractions happening. But then when I did get there and I had time, I realized, wow, I don't really know what I know, and I'm still having problems. And so that doesn't necessarily mean I'm not meant to grow seeds and plants and things like that. I just need to get more education about how to do that. And then I also recognize some people will put information out there. I remember watching this channel, and this girl was saying, like, you know, tomatoes and peppers, they need really warm soil before they can start growing. And so we start them later. But and then she also made a comment about if you start certain seeds, I think she was referring to that, like start seeds too soon, they'll get too much water and then they'll rot. But I'm like, so my tomato seeds, like I have over 100 plants out there that were from, I didn't put them there, they're from the previous plants. and I didn't touch them, I don't mess with them, they naturally just grew in that dirt. Now there's a double mix in there, which is, it's got mushrooms and it's got compost. And last year I had a problem with it because I didn't have enough moisture retention. So I need more compost. And I'm recognizing that this year too. The dirt is quite compact. And while it's high in vitamin, it still doesn't have the aeration in it. And so I need to add that to this season. So I'm learning things along the way. And along the way, I'm realizing like some way people do things, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the only way. And I had to get good with that because like I fell prone to a number of areas that, promote healing, but actually don't directly address the root of the cause. So it's kind of like getting a massage without actually wondering why you pulled the muscle. And the ideas around like why your muscle is so pullable. And what I mean by that is like, if you try to work out and your electrolytes are already depleted, that's going to be really challenging. You're going to get tired because you don't have the electrolytes just to maintain your body. But now you're trying to work out. So like your body needs more of those electrolytes to repair and rest your body, right? So you're already at a deficit and now you're trying to build on top of that. And so it makes sense that it's going to fall apart. And that's where I find education meets experience, because or belief systems meets experience, because there's a lot of I was living my life by a lot of other people's beliefs, and this involves like why depression is caused. Like some people will say it's a hormone, some people say it's a food, but I believe it's based on our choices and how we can react to when life doesn't work out for us, and how we react to certain challenging situations in life. And I think and why we choose those paths in life. And remember I mentioned from a deficit. When you're starting from a deficit, that's a lack mentality. So in order to thrive, if you're in survival mode, well, there is sacrifice involved with that. And in order to thrive, I think you still have to sacrifice, just in a different direction and for yourself. So there's things that you do similarly that are the same, but are very different for different reasons. And so before, I remember like when I had a garden, I would feel, oh my God, I can't water my garden because the water is so expensive. And I remember thinking as a child, like, Dad was like, be careful with the water because it's expensive. Like our showers had to be like limited time. He really wanted to clock the showers because we would, he had 3 kids and it would take a long time, I guess, for the water. And so it made me think, like growing up, like I always have to watch my water consumption. But if you look at it, like other people don't have to watch their water consumption. So like if water is at a low and a source that we have to worry about, why in other areas of the world are they just throwing water away like it's not valuable, right? So that I had to apply to my own mind, where I was living in sort of like a lack mindset. And while I think you do have to be resourceful and careful with your resources while building, I think it's important to recognize that you need to give yourself some space and resources to make a mess, because if you're too caught up with like, oh my God, I don't have enough, you might have enough. You're just putting it in all the wrong rooms and areas. So like, this is where I didn't think I have enough money, but I'm spending so much money on supplements and vitamins. But while I'm taking those supplements and vitamins, I'm also in connection with toxic people. So what if I remove the toxic people, right? Now I can remove the supplements, I think, right? So now I'm allowing my body to recover and heal through rest, which I never had, especially when I was, in that lifestyle, because I was working like a dog and receiving nothing. So let's pull my energy back from that and redirect it towards working for myself. So now I'm working for myself. Now my body is recovering. I'm in the garden. That's healthy. That's good for me. I'm out in the sun. Those are all healthy ways of living. I'm not having to squish myself into a box in someone else's building. And I'm able to spread my wings and try things out, right? So like, that's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. But it starts with giving yourself permission to try something new and to make a mess. And so like when I first started getting into spirituality and healing myself, like I remember I was like, okay, I had social anxiety, but my social anxiety was because I was around the wrong people. But I didn't realize that at the time. So I'm like, I gotta put myself out there and grow some confidence. So me and my daughter went to a painting class, but I'm like, I'm the adult. So I'm like, it's like they offer wine and stuff there too, but like it's for kids and stuff. It's like just the option of wine, which I don't drink. And I didn't drink, I didn't drink that much at that time. Like it was when my kids weren't around. I wasn't drinking when around my kids for the most part. I can't remember. If I did, it was like when I was out in the yard on the weekend, gardening, or at night when I was in for the evening. And so I remember like, cause I'm like, okay, I'm putting myself out there. I'm intentionally moving towards people. This is scary. I might have to talk to them. I mean, to be honest, like, yes, I did kind of have to interact, but the most time, like it was just me and my daughter talking and checking on each other's work and hanging out with each other. And so, and that's the whole, like that's the part I enjoyed about it the most. And I realized in my goal to negate my social anxiety, had I focused on the people that were right in my room, my kids, there's no social anxiety with them, nothing. So recognize when you feel social anxiety, you might be going into rooms that were never meant for you and you've got everything you need right in front of you. Your children need your attention, your dogs need your attention, like that is enough. I think a lot of people think they need all of these things outside of themselves. And it's interesting because we'll talk about lack, but like if you look in your life, you're spending a lot of money on things that you don't even need. And you're trying to go to places that you don't even like really need to go. If you were to appreciate where you are, there's a lot going on where you are to appreciate right now. And like, I'm not saying like, if you eventually want to travel and that's cool, that's fine. But like, I think there are ways to appreciate the space that you're in currently without feeling the need to escape it and go to places where it's like, even if you were to go, like if I had the money to go on vacation right now, I'm not in a position to really fully appreciate it because I'm not relaxed. And so for me, thinking that I just need a vacation to leave my home and go somewhere else, I'm not subconsciously, I'm not gonna be able to relax. It's just not how for me, it's just not where I'm at. And I think a lot of people try to force you to enjoy the moment and breathe and just pretend you're in a better spot. But like, I know I'm responsible for the bills. And so like, I can't just pretend like the bills aren't there. There are times where I have to put my focus on other areas. And I think that it's helpful to do that. Because if you can't get your focus off those bills, then you're never going to give yourself time to focus on yourself, right? So like, you got to recognize like the obsessions, what you have. Like I was obsessed with like a person because I thought they could help me build. And I thought we were on a level playing ground and I thought we had equal investment in each other, and that was not true. So anytime I felt obsession about something, that was something like if I couldn't bring myself back from that, that's going to be a place where I'm going to lose it. And I had to lose these things that were never meant for me because I had gained them in the wrong way, and I had to learn how to go about it in the right way, if that makes sense. So like all the money that I had was like I was doing a job that I hated, and I was getting credit for things to apply to my home where I hadn't even like the way I paid off the credit was by getting another loan or selling a house and moving to a different house. Like it was so much mess where I just should have stopped and like cleared slate and just, okay, what can I do from here kind of thing, if that makes sense. And so as long as there's obsession, there's emotion. And as long as there's emotion, there's something there that you're doing for the wrong reason. That's what I've come to the conclusion. I hope I'm saying it properly, but yeah, so I think that's important to take a look at what you're racing after. And if you feel the need to chase something, it was never really meant for you in the beginning. I think things do come naturally to us, but it's when you stop chasing them and you start sitting in it. And when I recognized the pain and what I was trying to patch the pain with, you know, material items, people, places, and I could start to recognize where those are just fillers, not answers. And so some people will tell themselves that these are solutions and that this is just how life has to be. This is what people do, and this is life. And it doesn't have to be your life. Okay, so it's a choice, and hopefully that helps. Take care.